How do you feel about the overall transplant experience? How has transplant changed your lifestyle? Did transplant meet your expectations?
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. I didn't even know they did lung transplants when this first happened to me. You know, I thought it was a little Frankensteinish, and so I wasn't too sure. But the UCSF and all the staff here, and just even the problems I had in intensive care and everything, the staff was just so great. The care and everything, it was just fantastic.
The transplant had some really positive aspects to it. Certainly a greater appreciation for the skills that my wife possesses as a caregiver were evident as she took control of the situation. Not only the dealing with the mass, especially at the beginning, the massive amount of drugs that you are on and managing that process, because as a patient, I don't know how you could do it effectively. Also, I think you need to be very careful to protect yourself. I call it situational awareness. You need to be aware of the environment that you're in and your susceptibility to illness. So it's either, I always carry masks. So if you're in a situation where you feel that you are at risk, then you mask up. Shaking hands, making sure that you are constantly cleaning your hands so that you don't transfer germs because your immune system is compromised. And also one of the things that from the transplant process that I can't emphasize enough is the staff, the people at UCSF, the doctors, and the teams that work together, the nurses, and the coordinators, both pre and post, were phenomenal. They provided insights to allow us to be able to keep everything in perspective. My role as a patient is to not undermine that. And I have to be able to keep an attitude and keep my eye on the ball, know what the goal is. And the goal is to be healthy and stay healthy and be able to maintain all the work that they have put into it. And I've put into it, and my wife, because the alternative is perhaps dying. And that's not an option. So it's important to be able to stay positive, even through the hard times, realizing that it's a speed bump, and that's all it is, and you'll get through it. But you have to be able to stay focused on that, and you will do well.
I would say the overall transplant experience, from the beginning, when I was first told that I needed a lung transplant, I actually was by myself. I didn't know I was going to get that news. It was back in 2010, early 2010, and I remember the doctors coming in, and they asked, "Is anyone here with you?" And I said, "Well, no, I just thought I was coming to get some information." And they had looked at all these x-rays, so they told me, so I was a little bit shocked. And from that day on, once Carrie got us in for the presentation, everything, I think the overall experience, because of the educational process that you guys take us through, has been incredible. The surgeons, Dr. Kukraja and Dr. Bush, just wonderful. Just wonderful. I can't say enough about them. And the nursing staff in ICU and in the regular ward. I tried to be the ideal patient, but I think I went through ICU delirium. I think that's what they told me. So I apologize profusely for that. The transplant definitely met my expectations. I am able to go up and down the stairs. I go up and down the stairs. It may seem small, but just going up and down the stairs in the house was major. I enjoy walking. I enjoy going out more. I started pulling back because it's like, okay, I only have so much oxygen with me. What am I going to do? And I didn't want other people to feel as though they had to cut their time short because of my limitations. But it has just opened up many doors for me. We will continue to build our business. We have our event planning business, so I can actively get back involved with that and also do my community work.
You know, I'm a big supporter of transplant. It was life-saving for me, certainly. It was transformative for me, not only physically but spiritually transformative for me. It's just it's a profound, intervention, and it does, make you think about the meaning of your own life, and why do I deserve to live, and why was I, given these organs, and it really makes you think about what am I going to do with my life. My life after transplant is beyond my expectations. To tell you the truth, I didn't want to know what my life would be like after transplant because I had a feeling it would be very restricted. And so the delightful surprise for me was that there weren't restrictions, that I was able to feel and be as physically active as I chose to be after my transplant. 2 years after my transplant, I participated in the Transplant Games in Salt Lake City. I have been physically active ever since, and I feel as strong now as I ever have in my life.
Overall, the transplant experience for me has been amazing. It's not what I expected. I really thought that the transplant experience was going to be hard, and it has been in many ways, but overall, it's just been a huge celebration for me. I've regained everything that I lost, literally everything that I lost from being sick. And I just have such an amazing full life now, and it's all because I chose to go through with the transplant. I would say that before the transplant, I lived a very active and full life until I got sick, and that was all taken away. And since the transplant, the main thing that I carry with me is just a sense of gratitude each and every day. I just try to remember that every breath I take is literally a gift, and I don't want to take that for granted.
It's rough. It's hard, but it's worth it. Like I said, if I had to do it again, I'd do it again. Whether it's obviously the medications, the frequent runs to the pharmacy, taking an hour out of your time to set up your pill planner, the need to come back and forth to the hospitals or clinics to do your appointments, those kind of things. But considering what life was like before I got that transplant, those are small little things. As a matter of fact, you tend to appreciate them because now you can do those things. Whereas before, in my case, I was laid in a bed and I couldn't do any of that. It does kind of sometimes get in the way of things, but it's just a part of your new life, and you accept it, and it becomes familiar to you, and then after that, it's no longer a stressful thing. I'm alive. That's the only thing I expected. If I get 5 years or if I get 25 years, I'm happy.
So how do I feel about my life after transplant? It's wonderful. My mother didn't get a chance the same way that I did. I saw her decline. I asked questions of my own doctor about her life and what her expectancy was, and it was pretty grim. So I didn't know what to expect after transplant. I just knew that transplant was a second chance at living. So it's been a little over 5 years now, and I would say that it has changed my outlook on a lot of things. So many things that I thought were important 5 years ago are not important today. I'm more compassionate. I'm a much more compassionate person. I spend my time I call myself a poor philanthropist because wherever I can help, I do. I would like to give millions and millions of dollars to help other people, but I give what I can. I'm involved in a homeless outreach in Stockton. I don't go because the conditions are very unhealthy and unsanitary, but I try to donate all that I can to help the people that are actually on the streets helping these homeless people. I get a great deal of satisfaction out of that. And I'm a cookie baker, and I decorate cookies for anybody that wants them for just about any occasion. And I get a great deal of satisfaction out of that. Some people make a lot of money baking cookies. I don't make any. It's my nonprofit business. So I just think about things a lot differently today. The little things are important.
It was good. I mean, I know there was struggles and bad times, but in the end, I don't really remember those or focus on it. It's a lot to go through. I mean, I lost some of my hair underneath here, and because your body's going through a lot of stress. And like seeing your body for the first time with the new scars and everything like that, it's hard. I remember right before leaving the hospital, I just like looked at myself and I was like, cried a little bit, but it looks a lot worse than it is. I mean, you can't even really tell that I've had a lung transplant now. Everything healed so well, and I haven't had very many complications. And oh my God, like taking a handful of pills a few times a day. Are you joking? Like that's a small price to pay for everything great that's come of it. And you learn about so much about yourself and what you can endure. And I feel like we're learning lessons that no one will ever get to learn, So I think it's been great, and the doctors here are amazing. Everyone just, they're super professional. Like it's amazing the support system that is here too. So I don't really have anything bad to say except for the little random things you wish you would have known beforehand. The drainage tubes were the biggest, thing with me. Uncomfortable getting in and out of bed with those while you're in the hospital is very annoying, I guess. You kind of feel like this weird, monster thing with all these things hanging off of you. And but like I said, you don't really, at the time it sucks, but it's just so worth it in the end. You gotta really take care of yourself afterwards. Take the medications regularly, and protect your lungs, because it's the only organ that gets transplanted that's exposed to the world. So there's a lot of potential for things to go wrong, but you don't try not to focus on it, because it can definitely it can eat at you a little bit. But I don't know. I think as time goes on, it's just everything's just better because of it. You're alive again. I mean, I guess I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was. Maybe I was just lucky. I don't know. Everyone has a different experience with it. So, but for me, it's above and beyond.
Everything that UCSF does for you will guide you from the start to the finish, and you'll be in absolutely the best hands possible. Transplant definitely met my expectations, because going into it, I really had no expectations. I just gave up the process and went in the direction that I was told to go, and each milestone was met, and I just took it a step at a time. So I would say, looking back, it more than met any expectations I could have ever conjured up in my mind.
The transplant experience is a journey, no joke, and everybody's journey is different. It is true what the doctors and nurses at UCSF will say. Everybody's different, everybody's got their own issues, everybody's got their own way of dealing with things. It's been great, not always, but in some, it's been fantastic. On the flip side of that, I need to say that it's also very unusual. The first 3 months I don't know, maybe even the first 6 months after the transplant, I wanted my life to change. I had a new life. I had a new leash on it. I had new organs. I wanted to recapture whatever passion I had, lived my potential. You know, I wanted everything to be new and bright and shiny, because it was. But although I have 3 new organs, I also have lots of old organs that are me. I have the same body. I have the same fears. I have the same skills. And coming to terms with both of those things, you know, wanting newness, wanting rebirth, and knowing that, you know, I'm 50. I'm set in many ways. I'm still having a hard time coming together with having that together, and feeling guilty about not being reborn in the way that I thought I might. You know, I think, transplant patients are miracles, and yet we're still human.
The entire process for the transplant, getting into the program, I was scared to death, and it was tedious in some ways. But now that it's over, I mean, and through that part, I understand better the importance of it, and the approach that you have to take to it. I think the team that's involved in this does a phenomenal job. They help you. They talk to you. It's amazing the things that they're able to accomplish. To me, it's phenomenal.
My feelings around the overall transplant experience are good. I have not had anything negative to set back that feeling. I went into it with my eyes open, expecting that things could go wrong, and there have been little things that have, but even if something was going wrong, it would never pale in comparison to the good experiences and the time I've been able to spend with my family. I don't know how to well answer the question of how my expectations were, because to be honest, I may have had some, but when I was sick, there wasn't a choice. So I wasn't even thinking of expectations. I was just thinking of getting it done and getting through it, and preparing myself mentally to do that. I never thought of the things that could go wrong. I never thought of how good or bad it was going to be, because anything was going to be better than what I was going through.